Trump's back to praising Modi. Bihar's voter math just broke logic. Elon Musk is now officially a trillion-dollar man, and India is filling oil tanks like there's no tomorrow. The week's got twists, turns, and trillion-dollar headlines. Let's dive in. Good morning. Welcome to Top of the Morning by Mint. I'm your host, Nelson John. This is your smart daily briefing on what matters. We cut through the noise so you start your day informed and ahead. It's Friday, November 7th. Let's get started. Here's something unexpected. Donald Trump called Prime Minister Narendra Modi a great man and a friend on Thursday, hinting at a possible India visit next year. This comes just months after reports suggest the relationship had completely unraveled.
He stopped buying oil from Russia.
When do you plan?
And he's a friend of mine, and we speak, and he wants me to go there. We'll figure that out. I'll go. I had a great trip there with Prime Minister Modi. He's a great man, and I'll be going.
No planning to go to India next year, sir?
It could be, yeah.
When pressed about timing for next year, he replied it could be yes. The timing is interesting. Washington recently slapped 50% tariffs on India over its Russian oil purchase, including an additional 25% in duties. That's not exactly friendly fire between allies. But here's the thing. This marks a complete turnaround from August, when the New York Times reported Trump had scrapped plans to attend India's Quad summit. The headline back then, How the Trump-Modi Relationship Unraveled. The report claimed Modi, who once called Trump a true friend, was officially on the outs. Trump made these remarks during a White House press briefing. The event was briefly paused after a representative fainted, but resumed shortly after. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt reinforced the diplomatic shift on Tuesday. The president feels very strongly about the India-US relationship, she said, pointing to Trump's recent Diwali celebration with Indian-American officials as evidence. India isn't backing down on its energy policies, though. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randir Jaiswal made that clear. India is a significant importer of oil and gas. Our import policies are guided entirely by the objective of safeguarding Indian consumer interests in a volatile energy scenario. He added that discussions with the current U.S. administration on deepening energy cooperation are ongoing. What this really means is that both sides are negotiating and navigating a tricky balance between strategic partnership and economic leverage. The tariff stays, the oil debate continues, but the diplomatic door remains open. Here's a puzzle. Bihar just deleted over 3 million names from its voter list. Yet more people showed up to vote than ever before. The first phase of Bihar's assembly elections wrapped up on Thursday with a 64.66% turnout across 121 constituencies. That's the highest Bihar has seen in any election since 2010. The number is 9.3 percentage points higher than the 2024 Lok Sabha elections and 8.8 points above the 2020 assembly polls. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Election Commission ran a special intensive revision exercise that wiped 3.07 million voters off the state's electoral roll. That's a 4% cut in total registered voters. Critics worried this would suppress actual voter participation. But let's break it down what actually happened. Despite the deletions, 24.3 million people cast their ballots in this phase, compared to the 21.55 million who voted in these same constituencies during the 24 Lok Sabha elections. That's an increase, not a decrease. The voter growth rate tells the story. Between 2010 and 2015, voters increased by 30.5%. Between 2015 and 2020, it was 9.5%. This time, 17.1% growth in actual voters, right in line with historical patterns. What this really means is the deletions likely targeted duplicate registrations and people who had migrated, not active voters. These were names cluttering the rolls of people who weren't voting anyway. The Election Commission listed 37.51 million registered voters for these constituencies, slightly higher than the 37.37 million in the final revised roll. The math supports the theory that the cleanup removed ghost voters, not real ones. One caveat, though: Bihar has historically had among the lowest voter turnout rates among states, suggesting many on the pre-revision rolls weren't active voters to begin with. The Election Commission doesn't publish data on individual voter identities, so this remains a strong inference rather than confirmed fact. Still, the number paints a clear picture. Fewer names on paper, more at the poll. President Donald Trump has a new number: 8 planes. Speaking to reporters at the White House on Thursday, Trump updated his ongoing claim that he stopped India and Pakistan from going to war in May.
An example, if you take a look at India and Pakistan, they started to fight. They're two nuclear nations. They were shooting each other. 8 planes were shot down. There was 7, now it was 8, because the one that was sort of shot down is now abandoned. And 8 planes were shot down.
His story goes like this: I said, if you guys are going to fight, I'm going to put tariffs on you. They were not happy, and within 24 hours, I settled the war. Trump has repeated this version multiple times now, including at an event in Miami on Wednesday and at the APEC summit in South Korea last week. He claims his May 9th conversation led to a ceasefire announcement the next day, following India's Operation Sindoor strikes after Pahalgam terror attack that killed 26 people. Well, India isn't buying it. The Ministry of External Affairs firmly rejected Trump's account, stating the ceasefire was achieved through established military channels between the Director Generals of Military Operations on both sides. India's position remains unchanged. All issues with Pakistan are to be resolved bilaterally, without any third-party involvement, the ministry said. Tesla's shareholders just handed Elon Musk the largest corporate payout in history. It was 75% voted on Thursday to approve a $1 trillion compensation plan for the CEO at Tesla's annual meeting in Austin, Texas. The goal is simple: keep Musk committed to Tesla for at least 7.5 years as the company pushes into AI and robotics. I'd like to give a heartfelt thanks to everyone who supported the shareholders' votes. I super appreciate it, Musk said after the announcement. Here's how it works. Musk must hit 12 milestones tied to Tesla's market value. The first payout unlocks when Tesla reaches a $2 trillion valuation, up from its current $1.5 trillion. The plan would boost his ownership from 12% to potentially over 25%. Tesla chair Robin Denholm pushed hard for the package, warning the stock could tank if Musk walks away. Not everyone is celebrating. Activist group Tesla Takedown called it the world's most expensive participation trophy, pointing to declining vehicle sales and safety concerns. Musk, already the world's richest person with over $500 billion in net worth, now has his biggest payday locked in. India is racing against the clock. With crude prices below $65 per barrel, the government is rushing to refill its strategic petroleum reserves before an expected surge hits the market. The timing is critical. U.S. sanctions on Russian oil giants Rosneft and Lukoil kick in November 21st, tightening global supplies just as OPEC Plus pauses production increases through March 2026. There is an effort to boost the reserves to ensure energy security as prices are relatively lower now, a government official said. Prices are likely to increase going ahead. Here's what's at stake. India currently stores only 3.6 million tons of crude in its 5.3 million ton capacity underground caverns. The country imports 88% of its oil, making it extremely vulnerable to price shocks. The math is brutal. Every $1 increase in crude prices adds $1.5 billion to India's import bill. Replacing discounted Russian oil with market-priced crude could add $2.7 billion to the country's $137 billion annual oil bill. India is already building 2 additional reserve locations to double storage capacity and working on feasibility reports for 6 more sites. That's all for today. Thank you for joining in. We are eagerly looking forward to our next Top of the Morning episode, which will be packed with the latest news. Until then, this is Nelson John signing off. Have a great day.